Hi, Michelle. Hi, Nathan. And hi, Ann. I think you guys are in mute mode, but I just wanted to say hi to you folks. And thank you for joining us. We got now Paula coming in. We're going to wait a few minutes before we actually start, give a couple more people, give people time to log in. Hi, Steve. How you doing? We'll be starting here in a minute. Okay, well, I think out of respect to everybody's time, we're going to go ahead and get started. So first of all, I would like to welcome you to the Milner DocuWare AP webinar. I'm really excited. We got some great information to share with you folks. And I know your time is important, so we're going to try to utilize the best of the 30 minutes that we have with you today. I'd like to introduce today's speakers. First, I'd like to introduce Nicole Moody, Regional Sales Director at DocuWare. Nicole has 10 years of account leadership experience with DocuWare and is our Milner go-to person. Nicole brings a lot of value to Milner and the DocuWare relationship, and we're very lucky to have her today, and she'll be driving the demo on DocuWare. I'm John Lopez, Director of Solution Sales, based here in Atlanta, Georgia. I've been with Milner for over 19 years, and I'm excited to be here today with you folks. So first, for a few things, this webinar will be recorded and it will be sent to you at the end of the webinar. In the handout sections of the GoToWebinar panel, there are handouts that you can download, like case study, a product flyer, and an in-depth brochure. Feel free to type questions as we go as well. This is all for you. And at the end, there will be a pop-up survey. Please fill that out for us. For you who may know Milner or may not know Milner, I wanted to give you a little bit of historical background. Since 1987, we've been under the Milner brand name. However, our history goes back to the 1930s. But since 1987, when Dusty took ownership and started the branch, over the last 36 years, we really evolved with our product offerings and capabilities for our customers. Today, we offer managed IT services, cybersecurity, document management, business telephony, speech, dictation, printers, copiers, and management services. Doing business with Milner means that you really are gaining some experience from our tenure and our people. We love sharing best business practices. This is what we do, and we are laser focused on our customers and how we can accomplish their missions and goals. And that's why we bring world-class products such as DocuWare to the table. However, having great products and a great company is one thing. It's the service. It's the people behind the service that's what really separates Milner from others. It's the people that, when you need help, have that can-do attitude. And that's why I love being with Milner here today. So remember, at the end of this, there's the survey. Please fill out the survey and you'll be entered to win some swag and giveaway. So our agenda is really pretty simple here. Why automate and how to boost your AP speed now. Best part for me is seeing is believing, the live demo. And then at the end, we'll wrap up with some high-level views and pennies for your thoughts. So we want to hear from you. Answer these questions. Nicole?
All right, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and launch a poll for you. Why don't you take a couple minutes and just, or a minute, and answer this question for me. How do you process your invoices right now? Is it paper-based and a manual process? Is there some mix of paper and digital, but it's pretty manual? How about you do use an automated process, or if there's an other version, you can drop that other in that question box. So we'll go ahead and give everybody a couple seconds to respond. Okay, wait till we're about 75% in. All right, so I'll go ahead and close this poll now and share the results with you guys. So it looks like about half, or 50%, have a mix of paper and digital. And a good portion of you guys are still all paper and manual. So the DocuWare invoice processing solution is going to be of a benefit to everybody. John, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you. And surprisingly enough, only 10% of AP businesses out there today have AP workflow and process automation. So there's a lot of room for a lot of growth out there. I'm excited to introduce to you a new team member. This is your new 24/7 AP team member. We call them DocuWare for invoice processing. The best part is they never get sick or want vacation. In addition to helping you process invoices faster, DocuWare works on any device, computer, tablet, or phone. Processing invoices just doesn't happen at your desk anymore. It gets done where you are and where your team needs to be. So how fast of processing are we talking about? Well, what we did for Lawrence Paper Company, it was 567% faster. They celebrated by having a big paper shredding party. These are real results with real DocuWare customers that we can do for you. I recommend that you download the success story and read it in its entirety. Using DocuWare is as ready as set, go. How, you ask? Great question. Ready. Start off by saying goodbye to the manual data entry and hello automated invoice indexing. DocuWare brings to the capture process intelligent indexing, which replaces error-prone time and consuming data entry. The best part about the intelligent indexing is not only do you have it, there is a master intelligent indexing server. And that master intelligent indexing server is gathering information from all the customers, DocuWare customers, and sharing that information. So what does that mean for you? By the time you get an invoice, someone may already seen it, and we may already know all the information you need from it. So if you understand why this is exciting, because capture is by far one of the hardest parts of document management, and we make it easy for you. Set your team for success. Everyone's on the same page, working out of one secure solution. No more islands of information like in today's business. Go. Automate your repetitive but important tasks. Use your new saved time for other projects. Digitally route approval and post back to your ERP in minutes. Amazing. No more relying on emails or wondering if a fellow employee had taken action. You will now have full insight where that invoice sits at any given time. Now you can take advantage of early pay discounts, or maybe even prevent a situation where you have an outage because of service was cut off because the payment wasn't paid out. Bottom line, work fast, cut data time by 95%, improve your approval time by 80%, from the time we start with receiving the invoices, however we receive it, to the time we route them, match them up if there's a three-way match or quick match, gather the information, get your approvals, help you create a booking record with the geocodes and information required, store the invoice into DocuWare, and then reduce your audit preparation time. All of this happens in minutes. So let's go ahead and slow down here for a second. I want to check to see if there's any questions out there.
We do actually have a question. Is capturing done by the Milner scanner, email attachments, or both?
So go ahead,
John. All right, I'll take that. So the capturing is done within DocuWare. So the scanning happens typically at either your MFP, let's say you have a desktop scanner. When the document comes in, we can capture the information off of the document utilizing either one-click indexing or intelligent indexing, as John previously mentioned. John, if you want to jump in and add anything.
No, it's a great question. The bottom line is, if you can get us either a paper image or a digital image, we can process this for you. And we're image agnostic, so wide open. Great question, though. Thank you. Please continue to ask questions. In day-to-day, people don't realize how time-consuming manual processes can be. All it takes is one broken link for all to fall apart. Someone to be on vacation, the invoice that was left on the manager's desk, or was misplaced, or etc. The average completion time for an invoice is 14 minutes. Sometimes I hear it's much longer, sometimes a little shorter, but Milner and DocuWare can bring this time way down to seconds and minutes. So we're at the best part. To me, this is exciting because it's seeing DocuWare in action. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Nicole, and she's going to run a quick demo for you.
Thank you, John, so much for that. So basically, as John mentioned, the idea of DocuWare for invoice processing is to provide a powerful cloud solution that completely automates your invoice process from capture and data extraction to approval routing to posting back to your accounting system, all in a secure, accessible repository. So what we're looking at now is our DocuWare interface, and we're looking at it in the tray. Now think about that tray as the inbox on your desk. Documents come into the tray that require attention to move through your process. Now we do have a number of ways to get documents into the tray. As we mentioned, scanning the documents, there's drag and drop. We also have a connect to Outlook configuration. So if I pop over to Outlook really quick, I get my email with my invoice attached. DocuWare sits as a ribbon within Outlook and gives you the ability to store this invoice directly into your tray. So again, that 24/7 access to DocuWare, you're simply just going to wait. And when you come in the morning, your documents are going to be here waiting for you to process them. If you saw really quick, there was a little gray bar that was running over the document. That's that intelligent indexing functionality we referenced. What that gives you the ability to do is have DocuWare remember where the information is on the document. So if I hover over this document, you can see that it's already completely indexed for me and I haven't even touched the document. The invoice processing provides a couple of industry standard pre-configured approval processes for you. The first one is a quick match. The quick match allows you to assign a threshold, a dollar threshold, to your vendor. And as long as that invoice for that vendor comes under that amount, it will automatically go to the completion process. At the completion process, you'll then have all the data that you need to export into a CSV file. If your ERP system takes CSV files directly. No more data entry. Everything gets uploaded automatically. So let's go ahead and take a look at what that will look like. So I'll go ahead and store this invoice. You can see that it's completely indexed. If I click on any one of the fields, we can see where on the document it's being pulled from. So let's say your vendor decides to change the format of the invoice, and now the information that you need is in a different place. Well, to fix it is really easy. You just remove the information and retrain it. When you bring this document back in, DocuWare will know to look for the invoice number down here as opposed to up here. So now I have everything I need, and I can go ahead and store my document. That's going to kick off the completion workflow for Peggy. In a second, she'll get a task that notifies her that she has something or a document to attend to. Now, the beauty of utilizing DocuWare, utilizing documents and your documents within a workflow in DocuWare is now you'll have complete visibility of the document. You have the ability to see exactly when the document was stored. You can add reminder notifications to your email, to your documents. You can have due date notifications. Typically now, when you're manually approving a process, you're literally printing it out, coding it, putting on a person's desk. You're waiting for that person to get back to you. Well, DocuWare will allow you to have your due date notifications, reminder notifications, and all of these notifications happen via email. The vendor master file allows you to predefine how you want your expense coded, your invoice coded. So you can predefine that. So right now, this is an even distribution. Here's the GL account codes that this invoice will hit every single time, and the cost center. So no more manual calculations. DocuWare will automatically get this invoice, see that it's an even distribution, and allocate it accordingly. So now all I have to do is review my invoice and confirm. Once that invoice is confirmed, it's going to end up on a list. Now think about lists as a way to organize information within your system. My ready to export list will be a running list of all the invoices that I've pushed through to completion. And when I'm ready, at the end of the day or on the hour, whatever frequency you'd like, you can run this export and get your CSV file of all the data that you need for your accounting system. Let's jump back to the tray and let's talk about the second option that we have, which is our multi-way match. Now, typically, when you have a multi-way match, you have the purchase order. That's where usually the approval processes take place, right? So if I come to my list, I can see that I have an open purchase order. In our case, US Steel is a three-way match invoice. So I'm waiting, I order my goods and I'm waiting for it to be delivered. When the goods are delivered, that document will be stored as well. So if I come over to my search, I want to see if I have that document stored. So I'm going to come over to my search dialog and search for my document. Now, typically in your traditional filing cabinets, you're probably going to have to dig through one file to find the one packing slip that you're looking for. Well, I can come right to my packing slip. I can put in the order number that I'm looking for, and I can pull up the exact packing slip that I need. So now that I know the goods have been received, when I store my invoice, this, like WB Mason, will automatically go to the completion step. No approvals necessary because that was done at the purchase order level. So I can come back, I can wait for my completion task to be assigned to me, and then complete my process. Again, tons of flexibility within the vendor master file. So this time, I want to be able to define how I account for this invoice. So I'm going to say that this particular dollar amount gets assigned to inventory. This particular document goes to taxes, and so on. So every time this invoice comes in, it's predefined by these GL account codes, and the expenses are done accordingly. If for some reason something changes, I can always change it within that table field. And all I have to do to update the vendor master file is say yes, and then I can confirm it. This, like the other, will be added to my list. And again, that list will just continue to grow. As you see in the open PO, because that was a three-way match, now my PO has been completely satisfied. The last option we have is a requester approval or a cost center approval. So right now, when you get an invoice that requires multiple managers to approve it, what ends up happening is you stamp that invoice, you code it for each one to approve, you hand it to the first one, and then you wait for it to come back, and then you have to hand it to the second one, right? Well, within DocuWare, you're storing that one document. When the document comes in, it simultaneously goes out to both managers at the same time. Those managers will then have the opportunity to review the invoice and return it to you. It won't come back to the finance department for completion until both managers, or how many managers you have within your vendor master file table, have made all their decisions. If for some reason this invoice just goes to one person in particular, you can always assign a specific requester to go ahead and approve that invoice. Again, this, you set up how you want it to be defined. So this invoice is a percentage of gross. So 25% will go to the G&A department, and the other 75% to the management department. So I'll go ahead and confirm that. Another key feature that you get within DocuWare is the ability to assign email notifications to your tasks. Because what ends up happening is most people, unless they're in the finance department per se, won't live in DocuWare. They're going to live in their email. So you want them to get that email notification to let them know that they have that task to attend to. That email notification, if you so choose to, would give them the ability to respond to that task right from their email. As you can see, Peggy receives this task now as an approver for the invoice. She receives the amount that she's responsible for. The table fields has been locked down, and that's an option that you can have, because typically most people don't want their managers to have access to make changes to the GL coding of an invoice. However, if that is the option that you guys have or you guys want, you can absolutely do this and open this up, or you can lock the entire table field down so they don't have the ability to change anything on the invoice. So it's completely flexible with how your organization manages their operations. So let's go ahead and check to see if the email has come through, and it has. So you can see here that you will receive an email notification. If you choose to, you can have this link associated within the email. As long as the person is logged into DocuWare, they can click on this link and respond to the task right from the email. So I'll go ahead and confirm this as Peggy under the management. I'll jump over to Elizabeth Cash so that you can see that she also receives a task to respond to her portion of the invoice as well. Just give that a quick sec. I'll confirm that. And I'll come back to Peggy to finalize the completion of that invoice. Now you notice there are these stamps, is what we call them, that are sitting on top of the invoice. They're simply annotations on that invoice. So what that means is, let's say you need to send this document outside of the organization, you can do so with or without those visible annotations. They're just layers that are sitting on the document, but it gives you the ability to monitor and track and have an audit trail of every step the document took throughout the workflow. So now I'll go ahead and complete this task. And now that final invoice will get updated on my list. Now I have all 3 invoices ready for export. So I simply just export that information. If I come to my desktop, I can open it up and see all the data necessary to upload that information into my accounting system. If there's even a notes or comment section, you can actually store a link of the document as well within the ERP system. So again, this is just an overview of what you can do within the invoice processing. There are tons more things that you can do with it, but I think at this point, I will hand it back over to John.
Wow. Thank you, Nicole. What a great demo. Just some exciting features in there. I hope you all agree with that. So let's move on. So let's take a high-level overview to see how inefficient processes really are. Today's challenges that we see is scattered records in paper file cabinets, email boxes, shared drives, Dropbox, and more, disconnected and unknown. With DocuWare, centralized, organized, safely stored business records. Challenges: overwhelming administrative effort, manual tasks, time consuming, always searching for information. With DocuWare, it's ready to use workflow for maximizing team productivity. Challenges: security gaps, painful auditing, ungated information access, compliances, and nightmares. With DocuWare, security and compliance adherence. For any company that has been fined after an audit, they will appreciate the readiness that DocuWare brings to the table. With our fast, simplified implementation process, your company can be up and running in days. Imagine you having automatic intelligent indexing and data exports, smart adaptive workflow and invoice routing, business continuity, simplified auditing and compliance. So we're at another question. We want to hear from you. I'm going to turn this over to Nicole for a.
Yep, I gotcha. So out of all the benefits that you saw today, which benefit are you most excited for? So let's go ahead and give it a few. Wait till we're about 75% in. All right, I'll go ahead and close the poll and share the results. So it looks like the majority of the viewers are excited about the amount of time that they're going to save, which is a great feature within DocuWare.
I truly agree with that one. That's the intelligent indexing is a game changer for everyone. So DocuWare has many certifications to help with compliances, but as far as references go, the best ones are the unsolicited, honest feedback from users. We recommend you go to G2, Gartner Peer Insights, or Capterra to see what DocuWare customers are saying about us. DocuWare Document Management Solutions is what these organizations around the world rely on for securely housing their documents and automating their business critical processes and more. But please, no matter what size you are, whether you're 4 people to hundreds of people, DocuWare has a solution for you. As we come to an end, what is your next move after this webinar? We hope you'll take the next step and move forward with DocuWare and enjoy the digital storage, automation workflow, access anywhere at any time, save time and money, protect those documents, boost productivity and morale. And so one of the things that people typically ask, well, why Milner? Well, Milner received the Customer Champion 2023 and Diamond Partner 2023 award last week in DocuWare conference. These are both very challenging awards to win. Obviously, the Diamond means we sold a lot, but selling a lot doesn't mean anything if you can't support it. And why I'm excited about the 2023, and oh, by the way, we did it 2022, was the Customer Service Champion is not Milner saying this, it's not DocuWare saying this, it's DocuWare doing an independent survey of the Milner customers to get their feedback to ensure that Milner's providing the care that our customers deserve. Our customers voted us Customer Champions for 2 years in a row. So I'm very proud of our engineers. We definitely have the best of the best. If you will remember just one thing from today, I want you to remember that you can process more invoices with your new DocuWare 24/7 DocuWare invoice processing team member. So again, I want to thank you, Nicole, for a great demo. Please, folks, if you have any questions, please start typing those questions so we can get you some answers. And we'll give that a second to see if there's any questions, or do we have any open questions at this time?
Yes, we do actually have a few questions.
Great.
All right, so the first question is, how about utility statements?
How about utility statements?
Yes.
So capturing information off of utility statement. So I'm assuming that information may be in a table field. So if you may get an invoice with multiple lines of that, yes, DocuWare can capture information off of a table field. If the invoice is detailed with multiple line items with multiple amounts on it, DocuWare can capture that information, still utilizing intelligent indexing to capture that information in that table field environment.
And remember, you can set the rules on that so that if you have a utility that comes in, obviously you don't want to run a utility through an approval process every time because you know it's an utility, you know it's supposed to get paid, but you could set rules on that to make sure that it never exceeds a certain number or else a red flag will pop up.
Absolutely.
All right, we have another question. We have multiple AP users with individual Outlook accounts. Does it make sense to have a single Outlook account for invoices versus multiple users to prevent a break in processing workflow?
That's a great question. Yes, it is more efficient to have, let's say, an AP@docuware.com, which is what we have as well. That centralized email will direct your vendors to send their emails to that. And then you can set up the same configuration I showed you, but except you could do it as a watch folder. So you'd set the rules that any vendor, any email from this particular vendor at wbmason.com automatically moves to your watch folder, and then DocuWare will watch that folder and ingest the invoices in automatically. So That can be done individually on individual emails, but it makes it more efficient if you have that centralized email inbox that DocuWare can watch.
All right. And our last question is, does it recognize duplicate invoices?
Absolutely. That is a functionality of the workflow. It will check in a validation step whether the invoice is a duplicate, and will flag it as such. And it'll prompt the user to either flag it as a duplicate or allow it to go through. Typically, phone bills don't have invoices, so we do have a mechanism to make that something on the invoice a unique identifier for you. But in case that doesn't go through and the duplicate happens, you have the option of allowing it to confirm and go forward, or stop the workflow at that point.
Any other questions? Well, folks, we've come to the end of today. Please be sure to touch base with me. You can contact me at 770-734-5344 or shoot me an email at jlopez@milner.com, and I would be glad to help you get on your way to processing more invoices with DocuWare. Thank you for your time, and I hope everybody has a great day. And if anybody